So I have really, really, really curly hair. Not a lot of people know this about me, but I was born with naturally ringleted hair. I have no idea how because my mom has it's curly, but not to the extent of mine, and she always straightens it, but it's nowhere near as bad as mine, and my dad's bald. So I really don't know where this curly hair came from. And none of my other siblings have it. It's literally just me. But anyway, so I have this very curly hair, and I've grown up with it. But since school and like college and high school, it's been easier for me to have it treated with keratin, which takes out a lot of the curls, so no one really know unless you knew me as a very young child. But regardless, so I had very, very curly hair. And this story it took place, I was either 4 or 5, and my sister's a year younger than me, so whatever age that makes her. But anyway, so me and my sister are very close now, and we were so close when we were younger just because we are the same person, and like she was my best friend and is my best friend, so we just got into so much trouble, just the two of us doing whatever we did when we were younger, and it drove my mom crazy, but she couldn't really do much because we were old enough to kind of be on our own, not obviously completely alone, but like she could not pay attention to us all the time. And then my brother, he's 4 years younger than me, so at this time, no matter if it's 4, he's like 1 or a baby or whatever. So she was paying attention to him, and my sister and I were playing, and we decided randomly that it'd be a good idea to practice playing hairdresser. I know we had like a doll and like a chair and a toy. I remember we have it still, where you could like kind of brush your hair, but never use scissors, just kind of like style it. But the whole idea, but that wasn't enough for whatever reason. So we decided to go to my parents' room and set up what would be like a mock sort of hairdressing situation. So we made our way up to my parents' master bedroom, and we like walked through. I remember everything was white too to make this worse, and I have really, really dark hair, but we walked in, and somehow we went to the bathroom in the room, and then we managed to somehow maneuver ourselves up high enough on the shelves to get to like all the things that we needed. And we didn't know the details, I guess, at this time of what actually was necessary for haircut, but we understood like the motions where you put something in it, which would be like a product, and you brush it and then you cut it. And so we didn't understand that it was different to grab Neosporin as a hair product because it seemed like the same. And then we had nail clippers instead of scissors because I guess neither of us understood the difference. And then some sort of brush, which I'm not sure, but I'm sure it wasn't for my hair. I'm sure it was for some other purpose, but we grabbed it. And so we went to the like main part of my parents' bedroom on the floor, completely awake, didn't put anything down. And I'm sitting there, and she brushes through my hair, and then she empties the entire contents of this tube of Neosporin and like massages in my hair just like a hairdresser would do, putting in product before giving a haircut. And she put it in, and I guess somehow I wouldn't really imagine nail clippers to do much damage just because they're nail clippers, but I think with the Neosporin making my hair so thick and like greasy, the nail clippers had an easier time taking out chunks of my hair. And she did this for at least 10-15 minutes, like cutting it and like without any sort of plan, just kind of going through the motions of a hairdresser. And then my mom walked in after that, like at that moment, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it was, and we're sitting there with my hair very clearly all over the white carpet, all around us, like all over the ground, very disproportionate looking on my head, and just like completely obvious what we've been doing. And I remember her screaming and being so mad at me, and I had no idea what I did wrong because I was just trying to be fun with my sister, like a good big sister, I guess. I don't really know. And I know it's hard to remember for me. I had the worst memory in the world, like childhood memories for people in general too, but there's this thing called flashbulb memories that we learned about in psych, and the idea behind them is that something traumatic or something triggers something in you, an emotional response that you associate with a memory, and like for whatever that reason is, like you remember it so clearly, like very vividly. So that's what happened there. I feel like because I was so confused why I was getting yelled at so aggressively because my mom was so mad at me. I had really nice curly hair and I completely messed it up. But anyways, so she ended up taking me to the hairdresser to try to salvage what they had done, and the only thing they could do to even it out at this point was to cut it all to this very unreasonable length, in my own opinion. But I literally had an afro. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I'm going to try to find a picture and put it up with this, but I had an afro. And my hair, for whatever reason, took a while to grow back, so I'm pretty sure it was at least 3 or 4 years of my life that I lived with an afro, and it was the funniest thing ever. But yeah, so that's the story of how I had an afro and one of my first haircuts, and how I guess I'm sort of the best big sister ever.